Hey guys, a quick intro to who I am before this video starts. I've been playing Hunt Showdown for years and started off playing on my buddy's account when the game was back in beta. And I love the game so much I ended up just buying it on my own account after about like a year of playing on his. And I have over 2,000 hours on this game just on my account alone. I don't know how many I put on his. And I've been wanting to make a YouTube channel for Hunt Showdown for a while now. I see there's a lack of videos truly explaining how to play Hunt Showdown, what everything does in Hunt Showdown. There's a lot of gameplay videos out there that show people, doing these awesome shots through the walls, but for our community to expand and to get bigger, I think it's important we help out the new people. And I know most of us don't want new people in the game because, well, you get them stuck on your team. You're looking at them like, oh, wow, this guy sucks. I don't want to play with him. But I think our community actually does an amazing job teaching new players how to play. And I've noticed just on YouTube, there's just a lack of it. Yeah, I've met some kids that started playing the game. I can't really call them kids. They're about my age, in their 20s. I bet some people started playing the game, and I ended up talking to them, and we became great buddies, and we still play to this day. And I taught them the basics on the game. And I think starting a YouTube channel on teaching the basics on the game and explaining what everything does and explaining how guns work and how this and that works would be amazing to help out the new players. So it's just what I've been wanting to do for a while now. And I think, especially with this game, where Crytek, absolutely, you could tell they put their heart and soul into this game. They listen to their community. They change stuff that we dislike. They add stuff that we want. They add skins that we make. It's an amazing community to be a part of. And I think one of the main things preventing people from actually staying in this community or even joining it is just the learning curve. So that's the whole point of this channel. It is to get you started, get you learning, and get you having to have fun in this game so you can be part of it. All of us here love the new people. We love the new players. We love just having more people in here because it just helps out. And especially when we have developers here that just kind of ignore what we want and ignore what we say. And we got Crytek here that has a Discord that they'll join and they'll talk to us in. It's definitely something a lot of more people should be playing if they could just get into it. And hopefully, after you watch my videos, you can actually understand the game a little bit better and you can start playing and loving it for the game that it is. And we can have you guys join our community. So if you're watching this, you most likely just picked up on Showdown and want to learn the basics before you shoot into your first game. And this series is perfect for that. I'm just teaching you the basics. I can't teach you all the peak spots, every little angle, every little thing in the game. That's just something you learn by playing over time. And I know there's a lot of information that can be overwhelming with Hunt Showdown to learn at first, but I promise you it gets easier as you play. This first video is going to be on learning the menu and what every tab does. And I'm new to this, so you guys gotta bear with me a little bit. I do little pauses, little stutters. I hate to say it, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing too much, but let's get right into it, and welcome to the AHA, Hunter. So, when you first open up Hunt Showdown, and everything loads up, this is what you're going to be greeted with right here. This is your main menu where you can start off and play Bounty Hunt. But before you get into Bounty Hunt, let's explain some other information first so you are a little bit more acquainted with the game. First, we're going to explain about the most important of them all, Hunt Dollars. Hunt Dollars is what you use to buy your guns and equipment and your hunters. After that, we're going to be looking at Blood Bonds. Blood Bonds is the premium currency of this game. Now, Crytek does a pretty good job with it, And they actually give you free blood bonds every match. You get maybe 1 or 2, sometimes 3, and if you could find some blood bond bags in game, you get a few more blood bonds. But primarily, you do have the option to buy them, but you also have the option to save up. And you actually can get maybe 500 within a week if you just don't use them. Next, we're going to be looking at Trial Stars. Trial Stars is not very important to play with, but we'll get into that when we get into the trials and what Trial Stars do. Next, let's look at rank. Ranks go from 1 to 100. Whenever you're at max rank, you have the option to prestige. When you prestige, you have a few things you can get from it. Mostly, people use it to get free weapon skins. Sometimes, it's great to have, but it's not really important. Skins are definitely not pay to win in this game. You don't really get any advantages from you buying skins. And a lot of people don't want to do with the grind, because once you prestige, you lose everything. All your hunters, all your equipment, everything you've unlocked, it all resets back to level 1. So you have to go through the whole grind again to get your equipment back and to get all your unlocks. So let's move to the hunt screen itself, how to actually start Bounty Hunt. With Bounty Hunt, you have a few different options to play with. You can play with random partners, and it gives you the option to choose random team of 3 or random team of 2. You also have the option to just play solo, and that's when you're in this screen, you can just instantly click on Play Bounty Hunt, and you'll be able to play by yourself, which I don't really recommend. And then you have the most important option of all, invite friends. Playing Hunt Showdown is a blast with friends. Even if you guys are on a lose streak, playing with friends just makes the whole game so much more fun. Now, when you have the option of playing with friends, you could choose to play with 1 or 2 other friends. If you're playing with 1 friend, you have the option to change it from teams of 3s to teams of 2s. Or, if you think you guys are that good, just stick with teams of 3s and get the underdog bonus. We'll explain what the underdog bonus is in a bit here. Skill-based. I suggest keeping this on for your first few games, because this is what gets you playing with other people in your MMR range. Here's your matchmaking MMR. Depending on how you play, if you play with a bunch of people that have higher MMR than you, you're going to be matched with higher MMR people. If you play with friends with lower MMR than you, you're going to be matched with lower MMR people. You also, if you play by yourself, they tend to drop the MMR so that way you have more of an advantage. It's not just fully stacked against you. Next, we'll look into the random contract. So, a long time ago, when the game first started coming out up until like last year, you used to have an option to pick your contract. Nowadays, they just kept it with random contract. No one really picked their contract. Everyone just played random contract because that was the fastest way to join a game. And it got so unpopular to pick a contract that you could sit in queue for 10 minutes straight and not find anyone to play with. Next, we'll look at your underdog bonus. Your underdog bonus depends on who you play with and how many people you play with. If you play by yourself and you go against teams of 3s, you get a high underdog bonus, which means you get more money and more XP. If you play with teams of 2s, the underdog bonus goes a little lower, but you still get a little bit more money, you still get a little bit more XP. You don't get an underdog bonus if you play with a full team of 3. So take that into account. Most of the time, the underdog bonus is not really important. Most of us prefer to have fun than go into a total sweat fest. Now, when you play Hunt Showdown, you're not just necessarily limited to just one game mode. You do also have the option to play Quick Play. Quick Play is more of your standard battle royale. With that being said, you do have a few little options you can start off with when it comes to what you want to start your character off. You can pick melee, you can pick shotgun, and you can pick medium range. When you pick any of these, they come with a small, weak weapon, maybe a pistol, maybe a dual-wield pistol, maybe a small shotgun, and my personal favorite, the melee. It comes with a basic melee weapon, and melee is extremely strong in this game, so I always prefer to keep it with melee. Now, you do have the option to pick your hunter, and depending on what level you are, depends on what these options are. Since you're probably a low level right now, you're gonna be able to get tier 1 hunters. Now all this is just for aesthetics. None of this actually affects the game and what you start off with. It's just all purely aesthetics. Next, as you can remember about the trial stars, here are the trials. You have 3 maps. Although Dusalis doesn't have any trials yet on it, and maybe it never will, but it doesn't have any right now. You could pick your trials, and you could pick between one of the 3 main maps, but the only trials are the main 2 maps. Stillwater Bayou and Lost in Delta. Trials are just little short mini game modes you can play to get these little trial stars, and whenever you get these trial stars, you can actually get blood bonds, hunt dollars, weapon skins, weapons, and equipment from it. A lot of us don't tend to play too much of this just because the time it takes to get these perfect and to get the full 3-star per trial, it's just not really worth it. A lot of us don't really have fun with it. Next is going to be training. This is going to be what I suggest everyone starts off with. It gives you a few free blood bonds, just enough to maybe buy yourself a nice little skin right off the start, but it gives you a good understanding of the game and how to play against the AI. And then finally, the contract screen. As I've stated, there is no options to change your contract. You only have random contract. We'll get to the progress bar next. This is going to be what you unlock throughout time when you level up between level 1s to 100. This is your basic starting equipment that every hunter starts off with. And your perks, primary perks you unlock right at level 1. And this everything you unlock afterwards. Now, you can unlock the base weapon and base equipment, but you can actually get more unlocks the more you use a gun, the more XP you get with it. These are your statistics. This just keeps track of your statistics and how many bosses you've killed, how many duos you've wiped, your total bounty. It's okay, but it's definitely not something most of us really keep track of too much. Challenges. So every day you get a challenge, and once you complete the challenge, you get a reward. Every week you also get a new challenge, and when you complete those challenges, you get a little bit better of a reward. Leaderboard page. This is where you can keep track of who's the best of the best. Again, not many of us really pay attention to this. We're just here to have fun. We're not really here to figure out who's better than who. But you can always take a look between you and your friends. Who's the best between them, world, and quick play. And one of my favorites to look at is this is how you take a look at your last match. How good you did, who you played with, what did you guys do, how long it lasted, and team details. Your roster. Now this is how you adjust your hunter. This is probably the most important screen you're going to be spending most of your time on. You have a select options of hunters you can accumulate with. You can start off with up to 5 hunters you can get at once. Recruiting hunters takes you to the recruit screen. We'll get to that in a second here. And this is going to be your equipment page. This is what you can buy for your hunter. Every hunter has an availability with no perks, can get 1 large weapon and 1 small weapon, or 2 medium weapons. So, if you choose to get a shotgun and a pistol, that's what you can run with. Or you can run with any other combo in the game, or 2 medium weapons. Next, we're going to be looking at tools. Your tools are things you can use throughout the match to help you out, and they don't get consumed whenever you use them. Your knife and medkit are definitely the primary tools you take on every hunter no matter what. You always want the medkit to heal you up, and you need a knife to kill AI. You don't necessarily have to get a knife. You can take the heavy knife, the dusters, the knuckle knife, a few little different options with melee. And next, we'll get to consumables. These are going to be like your grenades, your stamina shots, your regen shots, your vitality shots. We'll get all into that in a separate video. But these are the items you use, and once they're used, they're gone. You cannot regain them. You cannot pick them up. they're done. That's it. You have to rebuy them after you're done with the match. Upgrades, these are going to be all your perks you can put on a hunter. Some hunters come with the perks already on them, but you do have options to add more, and you also have the options to remove perks with blood bonds. Respect only gives you the option to remove your last health chunk or remove a perk. Most of us don't really want to spend blood bonds to remove health from our own hunter. Unless you have extra perk points to add health, it's usually not worth it. Recruitment. So, every time you win a match, you get a free reshuffle. You have an option to buy 4 different hunters. Every free reshuffle, gives you the option to get 4 new hunters refreshed on this. So we'll do one real quick. And you can buy any of these. You always get 1 free hunter, and depending on what level you are, you get up to a tier 3 hunter. Your sole survivor is the survivors you get whenever you win quick play. When you win, they come here, and you can choose to buy them for free. Not really buy, but you could choose to add them to your roster for free. Next, you got legendary hunters. These are just premium hunter skins you can get. Some of them you can buy with blood bonds, others you have to buy the DLC itself. Now, when you lose one of these hunters, you can choose to just rebuy them for hunt dollars again. They don't come with any equipment, but they always come with 3 perks. Next is the store. It is a feature page that Crytek gives us so we can see what's on sale and what we can buy and what's new to the game. These are going to be all your legendary skins. Just like hunters, you can either get them through DLC or through blood bonds, depending on which skin you want. And whenever you're able to buy them, you keep them forever. If you lose them in game, you could just rebuy them again for regular hunt dollars. The same cost as it would be for a weapon without a skin. This is going to be all your DLC characters you can buy and guns. They usually go on sale a lot, so you can usually get it cheap. You could wait a little bit and get the one you want for cheaper. And we'll look at legendary hunters. These are all the legendary hunters in total. You can show which ones you own, which ones are discounted right now. Some of these you can buy the DLC, or you can buy them with blood bonds. And then finally, we look at the blood bond page itself. It's how you buy your premium currency. Arsenal. This shows you all the weapons you've unlocked, and all the upgrades you gain for that weapon. All the variants, all the ammo types, anything. We'll get into ammo types and variants of guns later on in a different video, but for now, this is just how you check what you have unlocked. These are all your tools. These are all your consumables. We'll finally get to the library page, and with the library page, you have a few different books to pick out of. We'll start off with manual, which is probably the one you're going to take a few looks at, and this is going to just show you your gameplay basics, your hunters, how everything is, gives you an overview of what you can do. So if you ever need to take a look and figure out how something works, just go to the manual and you'll be able to find out. This is going to be your monster book. Now, with this, you do have an option to claim a XP to get a new page. It's not necessary. The first page always tell you the basics of it. Tell you what it can serve, what it's weak to, what it's resistant to. But over time, after killing these AI, you get XP against them. And when you do, you can claim it and get a few blood bonds. Now, legal notes and credits we're not really going to get into. It's not really too important, but not really important at all. But we'll take one more look at the last book. Oh man, if it wants to work. Well, guess it doesn't want to work for me today. But it gives you an overview of the weapon, and just as you could do with the AI, when you kill AI, you get XP with it. and you can claim more pages for it. It's the same thing with the guns. When you get more AI, when you get more XP with them, you can unlock new pages for the guns. Now, let's get back to the main menu. From here, this is going to be the main page, but at least you know what all the other pages do. And there's a few small little things we didn't get into, but, server selection, settings, and then help. This explains a little bit more. Hunt Showdown tries to show you as much as they can and give you as much information as you possibly can, but the best way to learn is just by playing the game.